What's happening, y'all? I'm sitting here in Walmart parking lot. It's getting dark on me because I'm such a night owl that I sleep all day. I'm just now getting my getting my shopping done for my necessities I ran out of. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you about a couple things in my life. One is really sad. I'll get that out of the way first. And one is really just mind-blowing. So, I had to put my dog Buster to sleep. And that really killed me. It was last Tuesday. So, me and Landon went, and he just turned 14 on May 2nd, and he's the first dog that I've ever owned. Like, there was a dog named Lucy when I was young who stayed around our house for a few years, but as far as me, Buster was my first dog, and he was half Yorkie, half weenie dog, and he's just fantastic. I still remember I used to have a classroom I taught in where when I worked for a cable company, and I still remember them bringing the box in and saying, look, these are free. And there was a box of little brown puppies and one little black puppy, and that was Buster. And we got him, and he was awesome. And maybe 3 or 4 years later, we got Tito. He's a little Shih Tzu, and they were just fast friends. So Tito's devastated too. But poor Buster had gotten old, and he couldn't see, couldn't hear. He was always grunting from being in pain, and evidently he'd had some blood in his stool for quite a while. So the decision was made, and Landon went with me. And I was crying when I was talking on the phone to the lady, because you can't go in. You just have to call the number and sit out in the parking lot. And she said, we'll be out there in just a little bit to get your info. Because of COVID-19, you can't come in if you want to be with him. But we can bring him out, and we can do it outside. So that's what we chose. And bless his heart, they rolled him out on a metal table, and he was already prepped. I think they already put a port in his left front leg. And Landon and I stood out there in the rain and just bawled our eyes out and put him down. A couple days ago, I had a dream about him, and I was right back there. I was standing right there in the rain, rubbing him, and wake up, and you're like, oh, it's just a dream. And then you're like, oh no, it wasn't just a dream. It was just a memory I had while I was asleep. It was so tough. So I've been so depressed, but I will be getting his ashes back. And I had his paw print, had 4 little paw print things, I guess ornaments, I don't know what you would call it. So I'll have those, and I'm going to get a cool urn, and he'll be with me forever. I'll try to share some pictures on another video. But so that's been tough. And then, staring down my birthday next week. So What am I talking about? Yeah, today's Sunday. So Wednesday will be my birthday. And I'll be 47. I dread that. Obviously, anybody that knows me knows I hate getting old. There's just, a lot of misery that comes with getting old. I look forward to, new adventures and creating new memories. But the clock is ticking. It's not loud, but it's ticking. So anyway, get all that craziness out of the way. You know that especially if you watch the Smokescreen podcast that Chris and I do, that I'm constantly watching different documentaries, hoping to find something to possibly talk about. And I watched some obscure documentaries. And so this morning, I don't know, it was probably 4 or 5 a.m. I'm on Amazon Prime and I see a documentary, and it is called Navy SEAL Murderer Framed Target of Opportunity. It's a long name, but if you type Navy SEAL in, you will see that. It's a documentary about these two Navy SEALs. Well, technically they weren't Navy SEAls. They had gone through BUDS, and they were assigned to SEAL teams, but they hadn't gotten their trident yet. So, I mean, they'd done everything. Survived Hell Week, all that bullshit. But while they were out drinking one night, Virginia Beach, they killed a girl. And then went and hid her body in the woods. So it's a crazy documentary, but here is the crazy part. As you know, I was in the Navy. Briefly, but I was in the Navy. In 1993, I was at Great Lakes for boot camp. I was in Company 107, and I was the company yeoman. And the yeoman, you got to be smart, obviously, to be chosen to be the yeoman. So they went by my ASVAB score. Anyway, I had my own desk in the company commander's office, and I had to keep track of everybody in my company. And there were like 80 of us. I want to say there was like 83 at one time, and then the number dwindles down as people drop out. Well, you know how I am with numbers and names and stats and stuff. It was a perfect job for me. I had my own little white satchel I had to carry that had everybody's info, and this little book, and had our plans for the day. I had to make sure that our company was where it needed to be, when it needed to be there. And one of these damn dudes on this documentary was in boot camp with me. Billy Joe Brown. And he's serving life in prison. And I knew him before they even said his name. I was like, oh my God, that's Brown. And I remember this guy. He was a freaking maniac. He was always, you get on Sundays, you get time to hang out with everybody and shine your shoes, write letters, do whatever you want to do. He was always in his spare time doing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff, always talking about going to be a SEAL, and how he was going to go to BUDS and everything. And we would joke about him behind his back and talk about how he's a freaking psychopath. And he was. It's crazy. So if you want to watch a crazy documentary, because the trial and everything is in there, and it's kind of like making a murderer as far as the way it looks like the prosecution and this whole state of Virginia is against this one dude, the Turner kid. Because it looks like Billy Joe Brown is the murderer alone. But Turner as well, he's locked up too. And I don't believe he did it. I believe that he's totally innocent. He's guilty of freaking out after his buddy kills this girl and helping hide the body. But he's the one who told the cops. They were already cleared, basically, by the FBI. But his conscience, he was like, look, I know where she's at. And he led them right to the body and everything. And now he spent the rest of his life in prison. Kind of feel for him. He's been in there. I guess the murder happened in April of '95. He's still there. So anyway, it blew my mind. It was so crazy to be watching this documentary and realize, that I knew this dude. We lived together all of boot camp, 8 weeks of boot camp. So just mind blowing, really mind blowing. I tried to do a little bit more reading about it, but it was so late or so early, however you want to look at it, that I was like, oh my God, I got to go to bed. But that just blew my mind. I went and got my old boot camp, the picture of our company, spotted him right away. He's on the back row, standing 2 guys down from my buddy Ross, who I still stay in contact with. He lives in New Zealand. But anyway, that's it. Other than that, it's just been a normal run-of-the-mill week for old James. I hope you got a kick out of that like I did. It's mind-blowing. Go read about it. It is a trip. But sure enough, that murderer was in boot camp with me, and I spoke to him many times. He came in the office many times and talked to me because he had a really young wife. He got married. He had like a 14-year-old wife. So anyway, it's crazy. I'll talk to you guys later, and keep listening to the podcast. And keep watching out for me to drop in and do some updates from time to time. Love you all. Take care.